"My brother left you, then marry me," shouted the millionaire, and everyone was shocked. The rain had been falling in soft curtains all afternoon, painting the windows of the small cafe with rivulets of silver. Emily sat at the corner table, staring into a cup of coffee that had long grown cold. Her delicate fingers trembled slightly as they clutched the porcelain, though not from the chill outside. It was her heart, fractured and heavy, that left her shivering. Only yesterday, her world had collapsed in silence. Daniel, the man she thought she would spend forever with, had walked away. Not with anger, not even with explanation. He had simply left a note on her nightstand, the words sharp as glass, "I can't do this anymore. Don't look for me." Daniel was not just any man. He was the heir to the sterling fortune, one of the wealthiest families in the city. His confidence, charm, and easy smile had made Emily fall faster than she had ever thought possible. And yet, without warning, he had cut the strings that bound them. Now she sat in that cafe, alone, lost, and humiliated. The whispers around town had already begun. She wasn't good enough for him, they said. What did she expect? A millionaire marrying a simple schoolteacher? Her thoughts spiraled when the doorbell above the cafe jingled. She looked up, and her breath caught. There, stepping inside, shaking off the rain from his tailored coat, was Adrian Sterling, Daniel's elder brother. Taller, sharper, and infinitely more intimidating, Adrian carried an aura of power that drew every eye in the room. Where Daniel had been playful, Adrian was serious. Where Daniel had been sunshine, Adrian was a storm. Emily's stomach twisted. She had spoken to Adrian only a handful of times, and each encounter left her unsettled. His eyes, icy gray and unflinching, seemed to pierce straight into her soul. Why was he here? Adrian spotted her instantly, as though he had known she would be there. Without hesitation, he crossed the room, ignoring the curious stares of the other patrons. He stopped in front of her table, his presence overwhelming. "Emily," he said, his voice deep, commanding. Her throat went dry. "Adrian, what are you?" He cut her off, leaning slightly closer. "My brother left you. I won't. Marry me." The cafe fell into stunned silence. Every head turned, every breath held. Emily's eyes widened, her heart slamming against her ribs. What?" she stammered. "Marry me," Adrian repeated, louder this time, his words echoing off the walls. "If Daniel was too much a fool to see your worth, then I'll prove it instead." For a long, trembling moment, Emily could only stare at him. Was this some kind of cruel joke? The millionaire heir, the most powerful man in the city, standing before her and demanding her hand in marriage. Her mind swirled with disbelief. But Adrian's eyes never wavered. In them, she saw no mockery, no hesitation. Only fierce certainty. Emily couldn't answer then. She fled the cafe, her cheeks burning, her heart in chaos. But Adrian followed. Over the next days, he appeared everywhere she went, at the school where she taught, waiting quietly by the gates, outside her apartment, always respectful yet immovable. He never pressured her with sweet words, never offered hollow promises. He simply repeated the same truth whenever she confronted him. "My brother was blind. I'm not. You're stronger than you know, Emily. You deserve to be cherished. Let me do that." At first, she resisted. The idea seemed impossible. She had loved Daniel, or at least thought she had. And Adrian frightened her. His intensity was overwhelming, his wealth and status a wall between their worlds. Yet, slowly, something inside her began to shift. One evening, as rain once again painted the city in shimmering silver, Adrian invited her to his mansion. She hesitated but accepted, curiosity overcoming her fear. The Sterling estate was breathtaking: marble floors, crystal chandeliers, walls lined with art worth more than she could imagine. Yet, Adrian didn't show her the grandeur. Instead, he led her into the library, where a fire crackled warmly, and shelves of books reached the ceiling. "This is where I find peace," he admitted, his voice softer than she had ever heard it. "Not in the boardrooms, not in the headlines. Here, among stories. And now, with you." Emily was stunned. For the first time, she glimpsed the man behind the power. Not a cold millionaire, but someone lonely, searching, vulnerable. Day by day, Adrian revealed more of himself. He took her to orphanages his family sponsored, where children ran to him with unrestrained joy. He showed her the rooftop garden he had cultivated himself, confessing that tending to roses was his secret escape. He even told her of the pain he carried, how he had once loved and lost, and how he swore never to risk his heart again, until Emily. Her resistance crumbled. She began to see him not as Daniel's intimidating brother, but as Adrian, flawed, human, and unexpectedly tender. And one evening, beneath a sky of scattered stars, when Adrian once again whispered, "Marry me," Emily no longer felt fear. She felt certainty. Yes, she breathed. Yes, Adrian. The news exploded like wildfire. The elder sterling heir to wed his brother's ex-fiancé. The tabloids feasted, the city buzzed with shock. At the engagement party, whispers filled the grand hall. Scandalous. Unbelievable. How could she switch brothers? Emily felt the weight of every stare, every judging eye. But Adrian never let go of her hand. Standing tall, he silenced the murmurs with a single, thunderous declaration. "My brother abandoned a woman of extraordinary worth. I will not. Emily is my choice, my equal, my future. Let the world talk, we will write our own story." In that moment, everyone was shocked, not by the scandal, but by the conviction in his voice. Even those who doubted could see, this was no fleeting infatuation. This was real. The wedding was simple yet radiant. Emily, in a gown of soft ivory, walked down the aisle with trembling steps. Adrian, waiting at the altar, looked at her as though she were the only person in the world. When the vows were spoken, tears shimmered in Emily's eyes. She had once been left in silence, discarded without explanation. Now, she stood beside a man who had shouted his love for all to hear, unashamed, unwavering. And when Adrian kissed her, sealing their union, the world seemed to fall away. For the first time, Emily believed in forever. That was only the beginning. Married life with Adrian was not always easy. Their worlds clashed, her simplicity against his extravagance, her quiet nature against his commanding presence. There were nights of tears, days of heated arguments. But there was also laughter. There were mornings in the garden, hands stained with soil as they planted roses together. Evenings when they read side by side in the library, silence more intimate than words. Trips to the orphanage where Adrian would lift children into his arms, and Emily would feel her heart swell. And with every challenge they faced, Adrian proved his vow again and again, that he would never leave, never falter, never let her doubt her worth. Years later, as Emily watched their daughter toddle through the same library where Adrian had first opened his heart to her, she smiled through tears. She remembered the cafe, the shock, the fear, the scandal. She remembered the moment that had changed everything. "My brother left you, then marry me." Those words, shouted in a crowded cafe, had once felt impossible. Now, they were the beginning of the life she cherished most.